Welcome back to Talking Sports with Chris. I'm Chris, and today is a nice little episode. This is going to be part one of my NFL free agency review. I'm going to be going position by position, and today I'll be starting with quarterbacks. Now, so far this offseason, this free agency, there has been 10 quarterbacks who have signed new contract deals, whether it was to the team they previously played for or to a brand new team. So let's get underway here with first Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million deal to play with the Atlanta Falcons. Now this is somewhat surprising because he was always so loyal to Minnesota. He's been there for a few years now, and he had such a good connection with Justin Jefferson. But now the Vikings lose out on a quarterback, but this is amazing for Atlanta because, in my opinion, they haven't had a good quarterback since Matt Ryan. Like, they've had Desmond Ridder for a year or two now, but he's not lived up to the hype he's seen. Like, he's not been good at all. And now with the new offensive coordinator, a new system for Atlanta, bringing Kirk Cousins is amazing. Like, they got great weapons like Drake London. I think they signed Darnell Mooney as well yesterday, and they have Kyle Pitts among others. And Kirk Cousins, he's a given starter. Like, he's played in the playoffs before. Yeah, he might have not played good in the playoffs, but he can still bring you there. Like in 2022, he brought the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs. Obviously, they lost in the first round, but it's still like Atlanta needed a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. Like last year, before he got hurt, he had 8 games played. He had 216 completions out of 311 attempts, a 69.5 completion percentage, 2,331 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Like just for that short like season he had with the 8 games played, like that's a great portion size of stats. Like bringing that to Atlanta, and Atlanta haven't had a good quarterback, like I said, since Matt Ryan. Now they have a certified starter here in Kirk Cousins, who, yeah, he's getting a little older, but he's still pretty good. Like he can still win ball games for um teams. And I just want to say this: good for Kirk Cousins' agent to get him that big of a contract. Like I'm surprised he got 4 years, $180 million at this rate, even coming off a ACL injury, I believe it was. Like good for Cousins, good for his agent. That was a great pull there, money wise and length wise. So in my opinion, it's a great deal between both sides. I mean, Atlanta gets a starting quarterback who can really help them win this year. Like they're in a really weak NFC South where there's only like the Buccaneers, Panthers, and Saints are other competitors. Like yeah, the Buccaneers are there. I mean, they re-signed Baker Mayfield, but I think now since Atlanta has that quarterback and Arthur Smith is gone, I think that was their offensive coordinator or head coach. Now he's gone. Like there's a new regime there in Atlanta. I think it's a big get for the Falcons. Now they're gonna utilize their team well. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts with Kirk Cousins. Like that is a stacked offense. Like compared to other teams in the NFC, let alone the NFC South. That could really win that. Win the Atlanta Falcons could really win that NFC South and make it to the wild card. Most definitely. I mean, Kirk Cousins. He's played through. He's been starter for years now. He's played in many playoff games. He's been with the Vikings for a while, and this raises a question, like too, as well for a Vikings standpoint. Will Justin Jefferson want to come back, or does he want to get a trade? Like, obviously not the point of today, but saying like that could really affect that contract and it really affect so many teams here. Whether it's the Falcons, I could definitely see them make the playoffs now. They barely just missed it last year. But now I think they can definitely, especially because there's still the draft and there's still other free agency guys they can get to pair with Kirk Cousins, and they got Darnell Mooney as well today. The Falcons are looking great. They can definitely make a playoff push in my opinion this year. Next, we're gonna go to Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania signed a 2-year deal, $25 million for the Vegas Raiders. Last year, he played in 17 games, whether it was backing up for Anthony Richardson or even starting once Richardson got hurt. He had 305 completions with 490 attempts. It's 62.2 completion percentage with 3,305 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Now, this is really good for the Raiders as well because Jimmy Garoppolo did not look good. And then they just got Aiden O'Connell. Like, they have Aiden O'Connell, who's still young and still needs to develop. Um, so getting someone who's getting someone like Gardner Minshew who knows how to win, whether it was with the Eagles or with the Jaguars or with the Colts. Like he knows how to win. So bringing Minshew to the Raiders as well, and the Raiders are just looking good. Like they signed Christian Wilkins, like, and now Minshew is gonna be throwing to Devontae Adams. Like, think about that. He went from Mike throwing to Michael Pittman to Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the game now. So this is great for Minshew, and he's got a nice little deal as well with the $25 million. Like that's pretty good for Minshew for being like somewhat of a backup quarterback. Now he's gonna be a starter in Vegas, and he's gonna be thrown to one of the best receivers in the whole game now. Like that is big for the Raiders. I mean, they also got Christian Wilkins. Like they're building a good team. Yeah, Minshew can really bring a spark. Like the Raiders released Jimmy Garoppolo. He's gone now. I think the Raiders can get like a big spark now, bringing in a new guy like Gardner Minshew. Last year they were pretty iffy. I mean, yeah, they were pretty iffy last year. They didn't make the playoffs. They didn't really win too much games, but now I think Gardner Minshew, like a new scenery for Minshew, is gonna help him a whole ton, especially coming to the Raiders. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be half that bad here. I think the Raiders definitely gonna do better than last year with this new quarterback. I mean, and he played a whole season last year, even with backing up with Anthony Richardson. Like Minshew is a reliable quarterback who you can put in to start, or if the Raiders get another great starter, you can back him up. Like Minshew, he's got it all in my opinion. Like not all, like he's not like a Patrick Mahomes, but like for uh, for the role that he's dealt with, he's amazing. Um, so I think he's definitely gonna do well with Vegas next year. Next, we got Jacoby Brissett signing with the New England Patriots for a 1-year deal worth $8 million. Now, the Patriots just traded Mac Jones not too long ago to the Jaguars, so they needed a quarterback. And I think Jacoby Brissett, they could have done better. I still think the Patriots are going to draft someone, but I think they just got the Brissett on this 1-year deal, so they can he's like a bridge quarterback for the rookie that they're going to draft this year, whether it's going to be Jaden Daniels, Drake May, whoever they land with. He's going to sit behind Jacoby Brissett. I mean, Brissett for this year, the Patriots are not contending this year. Bill Belichick's gone. I don't see them contending this year. Yes, they signed Austin Hooper last night to a 1-year deal. But bringing Jacoby Brissett is not bad. I mean, he's been a starter before with the Colts. Played with the he played with the Browns. So yeah, he played with the Browns, I believe, last year for a bit. Like last year, played 3 games, 18 completions out of 23 attempts, a 78.3 completion percentage with 224 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. For a small sample size that he had there, it's not bad. I mean, bring him to New England now. Like Jacoby Brissett also can really win as well. He was the quarterback that replaced Andrew Luck when he retired. Um, so now New England's on a new era. They're refreshing. They're getting new players. They're gonna definitely. I definitely see them drafting a quarterback. Still, even though they got Jacoby Brissett, like they can definitely draft a quarterback. Um, so having that rookie quarterback be benched behind, like learn from Jacoby Brissett, is not that bad. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. Like he's pretty decent for like with Minshew. He's really decent in his role that he has. So and it's a cheap 1 year deal. Like it's not bad for the Patriots. Like they also they also extended Hunter Henry. Like if the Patriots do the right moves and make like their future could look pretty good, especially if they get a rookie quarterback and then he backs up for Jacoby Brissett and as like that bridge quarterback. Like a lot Jacoby Brissett is one of those guys who's gonna like fill in now as a veteran QB, and he's gonna lead you guys to lead their team to a future. um, so a pretty nice deal for the Patriots. I mean, it's not like they're going Super Bowl or anything, or even making the playoffs, but it's just for the future at what's at hand and the future wise for the Patriots. This Jacoby Brissett leading to gonna be the rookie quarterback next year. It's pretty decent. I mean, he had a small sample size last year, and he made the most of it with the 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 224 yards. Not bad. Next, we got Marcus Mariota signed with Washington with a 1 year deal for $6 million. He's going to be competing with Sam Howell, but most likely he's going to be a backup quarterback. Like I think Washington sees a lot in Sam Howell, especially from last year. Like though Sam Howell's got to cut down on the interceptions, but putting a Marcus Mariota in now, and I think, my opinion, Marcus Mariota is also going to be the guy that if they need a rushing like a QB draw or something, like they're at the 1 yard line, or it's like a 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1. I think they put in Marcus Mariota, like just like the Phillies, not the Phillies, just like Philadelphia Eagles did last year, where he played 3 games. He had 15 completions out of 23 attempts, a 65.2 completion percentage, 164 yards, a 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Like not bad, like not too good, but not too bad. Like for Washington standards, is pretty nice. I mean, they just got Austin Eckler as well. Like they're looking pretty decent, and if yeah, and Marcus Mariota is gonna be battling against Sam Howell, but like he's also kind of a reliable quarterback, not to start, but just like if you need a rush, like he will get like first downs for Washington. Like same thing with Washington as well. I think they still might draft. There's a possibility they'll draft the quarterback. Like you never know what's gonna happen with Sam Howell. They might even trade him for all I know. But there's still a chance that they could draft a quarterback. I mean, they have a high draft pick, but if they see enough in Sam Howell, they build around him, and you got Marcus Mariota being like kind of a leader for Sam Howell. It's not half that bad for Washington. Like I said, they got Austin Eckler now. Like they're not contending right away. Like most of these teams, like the Patriots, Washington, like most of these teams are not contending right away. These are just like bridge quarterbacks, or like quarterbacks to help young up and coming quarterbacks to get like better and contend for the team. Like New England, like gonna get draft quarterbacks most likely in Washington. Whether they stick with Sam Howell or they draft a quarterback, um, Marcus Mariota is gonna be that guy who is gonna back him up in case of injury, or in case he does bad. He's gonna show him. Like Marcus Mariota, he's a good starter at points. Like when he was with the Tennessee Titans, he was not a bad starting quarterback. I mean, now he's gotten older and he's gotten a little bit worse, but it like Washington's in a situation where it's like they're in a rebuilding mode. Like they're just having this nice backup quarterback who who's going to help their young quarterback just get to the little next level where and it's kind of a cheap deal as well. It's only $6 million for 1 year. Like Washington gotta yeah, there was other quarterbacks that could have been a better option um instead of Marcus Mariota because he's not really a thrower, he's more of a running quarterback. But it's a decent deal for Washington, especially in a stacked NFC East like that, where there's other guys like Dak Prescott and Hurts. They're gonna need a veteran guy to go in there and to teach their youngster like Sam Howell or whatnot to get to the level at Jalen Hurts is at, or even Dak Prescott. Like I think this is also a decent deal. Like all these deals except maybe for one are good quarterback deals. Like next we got Mitchell Trubisky signing with the Buffalo Bills for 2 years, $5 million. It's not a bad deal. I mean, he's obviously gonna be backing up Josh Allen, but um it's a reunion baby for Buffalo. Like yeah, it's gonna be a backup. Like last year, Mitchell Trubisky played 5 games, 67 completions, 107 attempts, 62.6 completion percentage, 632 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Another guy who can really drop out the picks, but he's just there to back up Josh Allen to be that guy who's gonna be reliable. Who's if Josh Allen goes down with an injury, you bring in Mitchell Trubisky, and like Mitchell Trubisky comes up, he can start that. He's gonna be that starting role. He's gonna be reliable to the Buffalo Bills, who are a contending team. Like you're gonna need that depth um and Mitchell Trubisky brings that depth to the Buffalo Bills now with this reunion here. Obviously, last year Mitchell Trubisky was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, didn't do so well. I mean, Kenny Pickett, obviously, Mason Rudolph was playing for the Steelers last year. Like they had a big quarterback room, but Mitchell Trubisky, a little new scenery, like kind of new scenery coming back to Buffalo. I think it's not going to be half that bad here. Um, Trubisky's not a bad quarterback at all. Like in his role as a backup, he's not bad at all. Like as a starter, meh. He's pretty meh as a starter, but as a backup, he's really useful for um Buffalo or Pittsburgh or Chicago, wherever he's been as a backup. Like he wasn't a backup in Chicago, but I'm just saying when he has his moments, he can really show out for teams, and he's gonna be there alongside Josh Allen now, who's also an amazing quarterback. Now bringing back Mitchell Trubisky for that depth at quarterback for Buffalo. Buffalo's looking pretty decent. I mean, I think the one problem with this signing is their cap space. Like they can't really make other moves. Like they had to release Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, all these guys because of their Von Miller contract. So I think that's the one problem I have with this deal is because how it affects the cap room and how affects the team. But still, in a little short term, like the Buffalo Bills are still a contending team. And Mitchell Trubisky is a great depth piece. That's all you can really ask from him. You can't ask him to like lead you to a Super Bowl. Like I think this is the right deal for Trubisky, if that makes sense. Like it's not really the right deal for Buffalo. Like they could use some of that money for other guys to improve that roster. Like they lost Gabe Davis to the Jaguars, but that's the right deal for Mitchell Trubisky. If that makes sense, like he's got like it's the right amount of money. It's good for Buffalo depth wise. I'll say that every day of the week. The depth for Buffalo in the quarterback room is not bad. They could have used that money elsewhere. Um, I talked to some of my friends who are Buffalo Bills fans, and they say like, yeah, we could we got Trubisky, but we could have gotten someone else with that money to improve the team who lost to the Chiefs last year in the playoffs. Like the Bills have never won a Super Bowl, so that's why like they should have used that money to improve other points in the roster and not get Mitchell Trubisky. But that's really besides the point. Like that is like one of the main points here. But like they still have a great roster. They still have Stephon Diggs. They still have Josh Allen and James Cook. All these guys. It's not gonna affect too much. But if we're looking this little short term run of the 2 years of Trubisky's contract, I think it could be better. Maybe they should like drop it like to like a 2 years, maybe $2 million like per year, or like a half a million and a half per year, and it'll be better because you still get other short term deals to improve the team for next year to go in that playoff run. But I think Mitchell Trubisky is a fine quarterback. Um, so yeah, next we got Drew Lock signing a 1 year deal for worth $5 million to the New York Giants. Last year, for Drew Lock, he played for the Seattle Seahawks. He had 4 games played, with 48 completions to 76 attempts. He has 63.2 completion percentage, 543 yards with 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And I want to point this out there as well. He beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I just want to say that right now. Drew Lock coming to the Giants. A bad quarterback room. Bad quarterback room. I'm a Giants fan. I would know Daniel Jones is not good. He's not worth the money we're paying him. But I'm gonna be honest. If Giants fans are looking at this, I think they should be hyped for Drew Lock. I know he's not one of the big quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, but Drew Lock's better than Daniel Jones. He's better pocket passer. He's a better passer in general. And I want to make a prediction right now. Like, quote me on this, anything. Drew Lock is going to take the Giants to the playoffs. I'll say this right now. He's going to beat Daniel Jones for the starting role. Drew Lock is going to beat Daniel Jones for that starting quarterback role for the New York Giants, and he's going to take them to the playoffs. I am very firm on that. I have that feeling. Like when Drew Lock signed with the Giants, I had that feeling. Like that he's gonna be he's gonna be on a run like Tommy DeVito had last year. He's gonna be on a run when he's gonna win games. He's gonna take them to the playoffs. Not saying they're gonna go far or anything. Like the Giants are not that kind of team. Like yet, at least. I mean, they got Brian Burns. They signed Isaiah McKenzie, Devin Singletary. They added some guys to the offensive line. But they're still like not Super Bowl contenders yet. But Drew Lock, I have a feeling that he's gonna ball out next year for the Giants, and he's gonna take over the role for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is gonna be gone after this year. He's gonna be gone from the Giants, and Drew Lock, not saying he's the future of this team, but he's gonna have a great year this year. I'm predicting that right now. Drew Lock is gonna have a hell of a year. He's one of the quarterbacks. He's a slept-on quarterback right now. He beat the Eagles last year, and that's what the Giants need as well. They need someone who has history of beating the Eagles. Um, Especially because Barkley is an Eagle now. They really gotta beat him now. It's for that revenge tour, like. And I think Drew Lock, I think he could be that guy this year, at least this year, and then he's gonna have a great year. Maybe sign him to another 1 year or 2 year deal. That is my prediction, right? I'm saying this. I'll say this every day until it doesn't happen, or if it even does happen, that Drew Lock is gonna be a sleeper, like a must watch for the Giants this year. He's a sleeper pick. No, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's just gonna be a backup. It's gonna back up Daniel Jones." Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. Drew Lock is going to come in there. He's going to go to training camp. He's going to be a dog in training camp. He's going to show off in preseason. He's going to show Brian Daboll. I'm really showing my bias here as a Giants fan, but I really feel this way. Like I can feel this way with Mitchell Trubisky, or Jacoby Brissett maybe, but I don't know. Something is telling me that Drew Lock is going to bring the Giants to the playoffs. Um, and that's my take for this that's my take for this season, that the Giants are going to make the playoffs because of Drew Lock. Drew Lock is going to be unstoppable this year. Let's just take a quick break and let's go to trivia time. So my trivia today is which two teams competed in the very first Super Bowl? Was it the Packers and Chiefs? Was it the Bills and the Cardinals? Was it the Giants and Broncos? Or was it the Seahawks and Patriots? Um, Answer down in the description below or in the comments which two teams were which two teams faced off in the very first Super Bowl. Just let me know, and I'll reveal the answer next week, or next episode. So now for the seventh quarterback that signed was Russell Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Wilson's gonna be a dog for the Steelers as well. Like I feel the same way with Drew Lock and Russell Wilson, and it's only a 1 year. It's a 1 year prove it deal. It's $1 million. And Wilson, he needed new scenery. I don't think the coaching in Denver is good. I don't think he fit right there. Same with Drew Lock. Like no one really fit. Not a single quarterback has fit in Denver since Peyton Manning. That's like last year. And last year, Russell Wilson didn't even have a bad season. It's just how Denver is. The scheme, I don't think was right for Wilson. Like last year, in 15 games played, he had 297 completions with 447 attempts, a 66.4 completion percentage, 3,070 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. That's not a bad season for a quarterback, especially who's Wilson, who had a terrible season 2 years ago. And now he's coming to Pittsburgh. He's got more weapons like Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens. Um, I think it's a great deal, and it's cheap for the Pittsburgh Steelers too because they're still able to make moves. Like they signed Patrick Queen yesterday. Like they have a really decent team. And now Russell Wilson's gonna be competing with Kenny Pickett for a starting role. Like their quarterback room can be really decent. And Russell Wilson could give pointers, give tips, do whatever to help Kenny Pickett be better. And if Russell Wilson shows out this year, he can get a bigger deal. Like not too big of a deal because he's getting older, but he can get another deal with another team who can trust him, and he's gonna be if he turns out good this year, he can be a reliable quarterback for a playoff contending team. Not saying Pittsburgh's not a playoff contending team. Like they're in a hard AFC North team, but they're still one of the best teams in the AFC. Like they got a great team. They just got to put it out there on the field. Mike Tomlin, one of the best head coaches in the league, never had a losing season. And now pair him with Russell Wilson, and they still have George Pickens and Najee Harris, Jalen Warren. That's a great deal and so cheap. Um, I think Wilson can really be a true guy for Pittsburgh at least this year. Like he's older, so at least I think this year Russell Wilson will also take the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. In my opinion, I think Drew Lock takes the Giants to the playoffs, and Russell Wilson takes the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. Those are two pretty hot takes, but I really see it happening. Wilson has he's done it before. He's won many games before. I think the problem with Wilson these past 2 years was he was in Denver. That's my opinion. I think the reason why Russell Wilson hasn't been good was because he was in he was in Denver. He had Nathaniel Hackett, terrible head coach. Yeah, so I think Russell Wilson's gonna have a great year with Pittsburgh this year. There's nothing really to say with these quarterbacks. It's either they're gonna have a good year, they have a bad year, or they're just a bridge quarterback um, to another young quarterback. That's my opinion. That's my opinion with the quarterbacks that's signed so far. There's nothing really too big. They're in my opinion, they're either gonna have a great season, a terrible season, or they're just a backup or a bridge quarterback to another young guy. So now, speaking of backup quarterbacks, now we're gonna go to Tyrod Taylor, who signed a 2 year deal with the New York Jets. He's gonna be backing up for Aaron Rodgers. And last year, Tyrod Taylor with the Giants had an amazing year. Once Daniel Jones got hurt, He played 11 games. He had 116 completions with to 180 attempts, 64.4 completion percentage, and 1,341 yards with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. The touchdowns might not look forward, but he was a spark to a terrible Giants team last year. Like once Daniel Jones got hurt or was just playing bad, he came in. He almost beat the Bills. He nearly beat the Jets before he got hurt. But he's someone that can come in. He's a reliable quarterback. Like he's on the Jets team. He's gonna be back for Aaron Rodgers, and say Aaron Rodgers hurt again. Put Tyrod Taylor in. And I think he's way better than Zach Wilson. All right. Tyrod Taylor is gonna be a better backup quarterback than Zach Wilson was. So I think Tyrod Taylor, if he gets the time to show himself, he can be a great asset to this Jets team, especially because Aaron Rodgers is getting older. He was hurt last year. Like the problem with the Jets last year is once Aaron Rodgers got hurt, the season was practically over because Zach Wilson is not a reliable quarterback. He's like they've seen him before. They even had to bring in guys like Trevor Siemian because Wilson was so bad. So bringing Tyrod Taylor in, who showed he can Tyrod Taylor showed he can start for a team, he can back up for a team, he can do really anything in his role. So Tyrod Taylor was it's a big get for the Jets team. Like they have a great team, and if they can stay healthy, I think they can go far as well. The Jets, they have some players to work with, like Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. Like they have a team. They just gotta stay healthy and push forward. The Jets, in a few years from now, they can be a playoff team, in my opinion. Now, next, this is the one quarterback deal that I did not like: Sam Darnold to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Minnesota went from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold, and that's gotta make people in the front office and the roster kind of mad. Like, no disrespect to Sam Darnold, unless Minnesota drafts a quarterback, then I don't know what to say about Sam Darnold. Like, last year, he was in the 49ers, 10 games, 28 and 46, 28 completions, 46 attempts, a 60.9 completion percentage with 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Small sample size for a backup in San Francisco, but he as of right now, he's the starting quarterback. Like maybe Minnesota will draft someone, but like I don't know. Like Justin Jefferson really wanted Kirk Cousins back, but they did not get him back. They get Sam Darnold back, and I hear some people say that like people don't really like seeing like Sam Darnold to the Minnesota Vikings because he's not that guy anymore. Like in college, he was pretty decent. He went, I think, third overall in 2018 to the Jets. He didn't look good with the Jets. He went to Carolina. Didn't look good with Carolina. He was a backup for San Francisco, and now he might be a backup depending on if Minnesota drafts a quarterback. But as of right now, as things stand, Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback. I think that Minnesota could have done way better, unless the plan all along was to either trade up for a quarterback or maybe get a quarterback in the late rounds. Other than that, I think the Minnesota Vikings should have either brought Kirk Cousins back or even trade for Justin Fields if he's in the open market. Like, just get someone better than Sam Darnold. Even get Josh Dobbs back. Like, Sam Darnold is not the quarterback to like. The Vikings just 2 years ago made the playoffs, and now they're not even. They're barely contending. I mean, let alone that maybe Justin Jefferson wants out now because he doesn't have a competent quarterback like Kirk Cousins was. In my opinion, I think the Vikings are just going downhill right now. Especially because they made the wild card 2 years ago. Like, and ever since then, they're just going down. They started 0-3 last year. I see a nice future in the long run, but as I stand right now, the Vikings are not a good team anymore. I mean, they lost Danielle Hunter as well. He went to the Texans, I believe. So just looking at the Vikings roster right now, I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Um, I think Sam Darnold's probably gonna be another bridge quarterback. Like a lot of these quarterbacks are bridge quarterbacks for young guys. Like I see the Vikings maybe drafting one and just have Sam Darnold be there to help him out. Like it's hard to tell with most of these guys because they're all backups. Like it's like there's not a lot to say with any of these quarterbacks. It's like Kirk Cousins or like Drew Lock or Russell Wilson and like kind of like Tyrod Taylor. My opinion are gonna be good this year. The rest are backups. Like obviously Tyrod Taylor's also a backup, but like I think Rodgers gets hurt, he's gonna be great. But like a lot of these are bridge quarterbacks or backups or their starters. There's not really big splashes being made in the quarterback department, and that's really why like it's hard to tell with these guys. It's hard to say so much when there's not much to say with these quarterbacks. Like a couple of years ago when Tom Brady was in the free agent market, like that was fun. Like say a lot of things. Tom Brady then went on to win the Super Bowl. He's the GOAT in some people's opinions, but this year I think it's light on quarterbacks. So next, Jameis Winston. This is the last quarterback signing. He signed with the Cleveland Browns for a 1 year deal. Last year, he played 7 games for the New Orleans Saints. He had 25 completions to 47 attempts. Um, a 53.2 completion percentage, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. I think that was a down year for Jameis Winston, especially because Derek Carr just came in. So now he was mostly a backup. But besides last year, Jameis Winston has been a really decent quarterback. Like now he's gonna be backing up for Deshaun Watson, and say he gets hurt again. I if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I think James Winston's a reliable quarterback who can back up Deshaun Watson, and they still got like Amari Cooper and Donovan Peoples Jones, I believe. Um, and the Browns, they just made the playoffs last year, and now they're getting better. They just got Jerry Jeudy as well. Like Jameis Winston, the same thing before. Like he's just a backup, but he's also a reliable backup quarterback for if Deshaun Watson goes out again. He's kind of like a Joe Flacco, where like you don't really want him to be your starting quarterback, especially in the playoffs. But if it comes down to it, then yeah, I think you do it because Kevin Stefanski is a great head coach. I think he would definitely uh, do well with Jameis Winston. But there's nothing really to say here. He's just gonna be a backup quarterback. Like last year, pretty down year, but he knows how to win. He's been a starter before. He started for the New Orleans Saints. He started for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a couple of years. Like he knows what it takes to be a starter. He knows what it takes to be a backup. Like a lot of these guys, they're good in their roles. And that's the thing. They're good in the roles like Gardner Minshew and James Winston. They're gonna be good in the roles that they're given. So those are the 10 quarterbacks that have signed so far. There's definitely going to be a few more. There's still more quarterbacks on the free agent market that could be signed, but that's what's happening so far. Not really a lot to say with these guys. Like it's nothing too big besides the Kirk Cousins and the Russell Wilson. But that's it. Next time we will be doing running backs. A lot of running backs went off the board. A lot of changes, a lot of new teams. But thank you for listening. As always, spicy hot takes, drop them down below. Especially now since the NFL free agency is now underway. For like say like your team lost a guy, just um, overflow those just let me know any hot takes like say like you overpaid a player or something like and I'll feature you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. um be sure to stay tuned every episode Mondays, Wednesdays through Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. um yep, NFL free agency is underway here. It's been wild that for the most part. But yep, thank you for watching. Have a good night.